though she's like very, she's not like the loudest voice. There's a certain energy that you can see, and it's like a very persistent and something that someone who's really not willing to like back down.
My name is Amanda Lawson. I'm a junior at NYU, and I helped start the Dollar Bail Brigade. So how we started was a way to get NYU students involved in mass incarceration, specifically with the Bronx Freedom Fund. NYU wanted to work more closely with the Bronx Freedom Fund. I got a grant to do this work, build programs. We screened The 13th, which is an amazing documentary about criminal justice and the history in the United States. And then immediately afterwards, where people are feeling really frustrated and angry and upset, we presented them with a way to get involved. And that was to sign up for the Dollar Bail Brigade. So that night alone, we got 60 signups. 90 people came to the event, and people got to learn about dollar bail for the first time. At NYU, it's particularly effective because we live just 6 minutes away from the Manhattan Detention Complex. Other volunteers in the city have to commute, take the subway, but with NYU, we can just walk to the jails for the most part. As far as a group of people, we couldn't have a greater group of people. I think last time I checked, we were 712, which is really amazing, and now we're at 200 NYU volunteers, and all of the rest of the volunteers are people in this city, which shows how much people are angry about it and want to take action. So dollar bail lets us illuminate the problems of money bail and what is the most ridiculous iteration of that, which is just $1. You can be on Rikers for just $1. And using this example of something that happens every single day, we talk to people and get them angry about money bail, which is $1 is messed up, but even if it's $500, if it's $1,000, an amount of money shouldn't keep a person in jail. So we now have this group of 700 angry registered voters in New York City who are constituents who support ending money bail and taking progressive reforms. We post bail for everyone. This comes from the belief in the presumption of innocence that people are afforded in the criminal justice system. That means that you are innocent until proven guilty, allegedly. We know that's not happening because people are incarcerated pre-trial. If you're on Rikers with people who've been convicted of a crime and you're just there because you can't afford to post bail, that's not fair. That is not a fair system. That's punishing people before we even know if they've done what they've been accused of. It should upset people, and we should want to take action against pretrial detention. So most of our volunteers who are NYU-based go and visit the Tombs. That's the fun name for the Manhattan Detention Complex. Each jail kind of has its nickname. In the Bronx, the facility that's used is called the Boat because it's an actual slave barge that keeps people in jail. Rikers is the island, Torture Island. There are lots of names for Rikers. The Tombs is where we mostly go and pay people out. There is no door, so at any time with different weather conditions, people are just sitting there waiting to pay bail where it might be snowing, it could be very hot, whatever. There's no barrier. As far as seating, there's just a very short bench that could seat maybe 3 people if people are bringing their family, which often they do, because if you know that you're going to have to wait 8 hours to pay bail, 8 hours of childcare can be very expensive for people. So I see people who bring in their children, who bring in baby carriages and have to sit there and wait with a child in a bathroomless room for hours and hours. The other day we had the opportunity to stumble upon one of our volunteers while he was paying bail at this facility, which is really great, and often I don't see volunteers' faces. It was great to kind of see what it looks like for someone who is experiencing this and has never paid a bail before, who gets to see it, who sees all of the abnormalities that happen, all the weird things, like hours where a correctional officer wasn't there. We've been told before that it takes their system a long time to boot up, so come back tomorrow. We come back tomorrow, they say new day, new form, and we have to start over. So there are all kinds of things that make this more difficult for our volunteers, but being able to see him the other day and connect a face to a name was really meaningful. The volunteers are at the core of our work. We wouldn't be able to cover all these bails with just a handful of people, so having large numbers of people who are willing to go is really amazing. All over the room is writing scrawled everywhere from people who are just tired of waiting, writing things like free this person, or this person should be locked up, or the system is messed up, just kind of venting their frustration all over the walls. I know personally there's this one person at the window who anytime she's there, she's gonna make it a lot more difficult. I've seen her just refuse public information to me. There's nothing that I can do. Like, as irritating as it is, even if I wanted to do something, if there was some way for me to unleash my anger, like, I can't, because she has all of the power in that situation and she could take it out on the person I'm trying to help. It's a really emotionally draining place, and it's really difficult. Even though it can take 30 minutes, an hour before someone will acknowledge our volunteers at the window, the longest part is processing that paperwork, entering it into their system. If the person is at another facility, faxing it to that jail, having them process it, check their fax machine, and send it back to the facility. So the whole process has taken us anywhere from 30 minutes, really early in the morning, where they were just feeling generous or whatever it might have been, to 49 hours to finish it. The conversation right now about closing Rikers is a really pressing one. We need to close Rikers, but we don't need to open up other jails to do that. If we stopped using money bail, and if we stopped using pretrial detention, we could free mass amounts of people. That would be like 500,000 people in the United States right now are just in jail pretrial. So the Google event was incredible. That event kind of showed the amount of community support that we're gaining. So we partner closely with the Bronx Freedom Fund. They helped us start. Without them, the Dollar Bail Brigade would not exist. And without them, the National Bail Project, which is doing this all over the country, wouldn't exist. So they're really like a launching point and a role model for us in many ways. They also introduced us later, a few months into the Dollar Bail Brigade, to Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights. We've worked with them and their Young Leaders group to really build up the Dollar Bail Brigade. The Google event was incredible. It was amazing to me to see, like, just walking around in the space and seeing everyone's name tags and like, oh my goodness, I know you by your email and now I get to see your face. And we have people who have been through the system who come back to help other people who are formerly incarcerated who love the work that we're doing and want to amplify it, because at the end of the day, it is amazing that this many people care and are willing to go through the process. But yeah, I got to meet all those people for the first time, and they get to have this sense of community of talking to people about, like, can you believe they did this to me? And like, I had this experience, or like, oh, I found that paying at the boat at this time is better, or like shifts that are more friendly.
It's a pretty clear and demonstrable injustice, where once you learn the parameters of what it is and how it actually affects people on the ground, it's hard to justify not taking action. Like, the moral case against cash bail is, I think, especially clear-cut.
But New York City is a unique place to be doing this work. And Dollar Bail is unique to New York City in that I've seen there's not Dollar Bail in other places. I think every system has its workarounds, but this is like a municipal issue that we can fix, that New Yorkers can work together and fix. And since there are so many intersections that are affected by the system, like LGBTQ people are disproportionately affected by this system, people with disabilities, people of different immigrant statuses, like all of these people are uniquely targeted, so we know what it's like to be hurt by the system. And I grew up not directly affected by the system, but my father was regularly incarcerated. I've seen the collateral effects that we talk about. Like, it is very real that in just a few days you lose your job, you lose your housing, you lose your kids. Even people on the other side of the aisle, because I'm from Texas, so like, it's not like I'm not used to conservatism. Even those people can rally around bail. It's an entry point for people. It's a point of common ground. These are just innocent people. A lot of homeless people, a lot of immigrants. For me as a young organizer, it's a learning experience for me of how can I take this huge group of people and make them effective in the most effective way. As far as future, DBB, we are ingratiating ourselves in like the criminal justice network of New York City. I think we're valuable to them because we're 700 people that we can use to connect them to other issues that they care about. And we can take this core group of people and advocate at City Hall or go up for a lobbying day. What I'd like to do is make more relationships with public defenders so that we can get more referrals, because I know we're not reaching all of the people who are in jail on a dollar. Because since it was built by attorneys as like a workaround, it's something that is kind of hard for us to explain. So raising more awareness about dollar bail, freeing more people, and then just having more people find out about us.